Skeletations, my new ghoul friends. I'm Naomi Dillon Sass, resident podcaster here at UIC Radio, and I'm taking you along with me to visit something grave today. This is where hauntings feel like hellos. Welcome to season 3 of a podcast for everything in the horror genre, from movies to mythologies and mysteries. This is Summer in the Crypt. Along with us on this week's frightful journey, you have the astonishing displeasure of having a harrowing horror hostess with one of the grossest episodes coming your way. We are officially 85 days away from Halloween on the day of this release, and I think it's safe to say we can get into the spirit. I couldn't think of a better movie than the one even the deepest, darkest horror fans wince at when watching. Terrifier from 2016. This movie is the rebirth of the newest slasher king, Art the Clown, written and directed by Damien Leone. There will be a trigger warning at the beginning of each of my episodes, just in case today's dark discussion isn't your preferred potion. If you aren't a fan of graphic gore, then beware. Ghoul, I get it if you can't listen to that right now. Just leave us a like on your way out and be sure to tune in next week for a different dark discussion. After this quick break, I'll be back to do some grave digging into one of the scariest yet silent serial killers the silver screens have ever seen. Ghouls, we will see whose Halloween night ended up being their last and who became the victims of the Miles County Massacre. I'll be rolling in my coffin with excitement while you listen to this quick message from Beyond. All right, in the summer, this spell always works. This is She's Summoning. So, I am moving into a new apartment. When this episode releases, I will literally be... When this episode releases, I'll be doing my very last day of my summer school job that I've been working at this private school that I got hired at. Honestly, there's going to be like 5 kids I'm gonna miss. One kid, he kind of like just talks trash about everybody, but like it's not really trash. He kind of just is saying like brutal facts aloud because kids just do that. But he's so sweet. Other than him stating obvious yet discerning facts about people. But that kid is funny. I'm gonna miss that kid the most. But I am going to be moving into a new apartment finally. I effing hated the apartment that I have been living at. It was a great apartment itself. It was in a great area, but like the complex and like the like property owners ate ass. Like a lot, and not in a good way, diva. But this new one is going to be like in Hyde Park, Kenwood area. It's kind of by the University of Chicago, even though that place rejected me. Totally fine. I guess I was meant to be here. But now it's only going to be like a 15-minute drive without traffic instead of like a 40-minute drive without traffic. And with traffic, it'll still probably just be like a 26-minute, at the most maybe 30-minute drive to the new apartment instead of an hour and 20-minute drive to where I'm living right now. It is just literally way too much. I have spent probably like the last year of school, each day I probably spent anywhere from 2 to 4 hours just driving or taking the train to and from school on those days, and it was just too much. It was like not a waste of time, but basically a waste of time. So now this next year I'll be cutting those 2 to 4 hours to basically 30 minutes to at the most maybe an hour and a half, which I'll take it. It's a much smaller place. It's a studio. The last place I lived in was a 1-bedroom apartment, but it's a studio, but it's like kind of like it's a bigger bigger studio, in my opinion, especially compared to some that I have been looking at. What I like about this one compared to other studios is like most studios I've seen are just like one giant box. They have like the kitchen basically laid out on one wall and then the open room for the rest of the studio, and then they have like a bathroom that's separate from the main room. But this one, everything's kind of separate. There's kind of like a little big walk-in closet that goes into the bathroom, which is the same size as the bathroom that I have right now. And then there's a tiny hallway that goes into a kitchen, which is separate, which is basically the same size as the kitchen that I also have right now. And then now the main room itself is probably the size of my dining room that I have right now. So the only thing that I'm really getting rid of is my living room and my bedroom. And if I'm being honest, the dining room that I have right now is basically a storage. And I've just been using it for storage, but I just got a storage. So that means, that's one room I don't need to use. And I basically, especially in the summer, I've been sleeping in my living room because that's where the air conditioning unit is. And that's where it's like the coolest. So it's like I've been using, the space of a studio apartment already, so I might as well have been paying the price of a studio apartment instead of what I have been paying, which was crazy. Literally crazy. Also, I got a new phone. Thank goodness. I honestly think 15% of my life problems, like last school year, we'll just say last school year, had to do with my phone. And also that traveling time, that longer traveling time also had to do with my phone. My phone hasn't been updated in so long because there hasn't been any storage, and I've been deleting everything and there's still no storage. I ain't gonna buy no storage. And my phone's just like, it was a iPhone like 14, I think. And it was just super old and it's getting out of date and nothing was working. Anytime I was in the city and I missed a turn, it would literally take like 5 minutes to reroute. And I've already been like, okay, I'm already down like half a mile away from where I'm supposed to be going, which, adds more time to it. But this new phone is awesome. When I was trying to set up the new internet at my apartment, I couldn't even set up the internet because I needed to download the Xfinity app and my phone wouldn't download it, not because I didn't have any space, but because it didn't have the new update. But the update was 5 gigabytes and I did not have 5 gigabytes of space. I literally would have had to like deleted basically my whole phone to update the phone, which might as well get the new phone at this point, right? So yeah, that's the main reason why I got a new phone, which I'm so happy for. So now the content's going to be contenting, honey, because the camera quality is I'm so excited. As soon as I'm done moving into this apartment, I should document like the move-in process. Say less. But I am stepping into a new era. What's next? A new haircut? Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I am excited to start this new school year. It's going to be lit, and I hope everyone has been having a great summer. Are you guys ready to get into the next segment? This is Dark Discussions. Shh. So today's on the dossier, we have Terrifier. I've been waiting for a good moment to do this episode. No better time than the present. And so this is the first installment of its saga. There's 2 more, plus like a prequel and a bunch of other short films that were beforehand that had Art the Clown itself. And a 4th one's coming out. Yeah, and a 4th one's coming out. So the reason why I decided to do the first one, because the first one's on Halloween night. The second one is also on Halloween, so you can expect like a Halloween episode. Not a Halloween episode particularly. I'm not saying like the Halloween special is going to be the Terrifier episode. But you can expect Terrifier 2 to be one of the episodes that come out during October for sure. And then I'm going to finish the saga with Terrifier 3 in December sometime because y'all know that one's a Christmas one. That's when Art does like Santa Claus cosplay and it's amazing. However, we are starting off with number 1 from 2016. So y'all know how we do it over here. We are going to go to IMDb for the synopsis, and we're going to break it down kill by kill. All right, so a woman with facial disfigurements who survived a massacre the previous year appears on a television talk show. After the broadcast, the host, Monica Brown, makes hurtful remarks about the woman's looks to her boyfriend on the telephone, prompting the woman to emerge from hiding and brutally attack her. So that's already our first kill, you guys. Our first kill is this host, this broadcast host. She is a very pretty redhead. I can't wait to be a redhead. And the way that she died, I don't want to say she had it coming, but she definitely was talking mad smack about the girl she was just interviewing. Not only was she like the person she was just interviewing on her show, like, one, show some hospitality. Two, like, she was a survivor victim of Art the Clown, and you're going to say all that. I'm sure she didn't know she was creeping and ready to attack her. But, I mean, did you see her leave? If you didn't see her leave, then that could have been your bad. And also, just don't talk smack about people behind their backs. But yeah, she was like, she was saying if like she ever looks the way that the person looks like who she just interviewed, to basically who she was talking to on the phone, she was telling this to, she was saying to basically like kill her, and if you don't, she'll do it herself. And once she said that, that's when the woman with facial disfigurements pops out from behind her and literally grabs her by the face, takes her thumbs and presses them as hard as she can, like straight into her eyeballs, and then like throws her on the floor and kind of just like lets her bleed out. And she's just kind of like maniacally laughing as the girl is bleeding to death on the floor with no eyeballs, basically the eyeballs popping right out of her skull. This kill was top tier. I do like this kill. This was a good kill. So it goes on to Halloween night in 2017. Two friends, Tara and Dawn, leave a party while intoxicated and find themselves being followed by the one, the only Art the Clown, who ultimately follows them to a pizzeria. The restaurant owners eject Art after he vandalizes the bathroom with feces. The girls soon realize that Dawn's car's tires have been slashed, leading Tara to call her sister Victoria for assistance. Art returns to the pizzeria and murders both the owner and the employee. So first, let's break down who the characters are so far that we've met. One, we've met Art the Clown, the one, the only. He is played by David Howard Thornton, and the main sisters, excuse me, and the main, not sisters, the main person, Tara, is played by Jenna Cannell. Dawn is played by Catherine Cochran. And then we have the pizza guys. Katie McGuire was the one who played the horror hostess who got smacked in the beginning of the movie. R.I.P. Her name in the movie was Monica Brown. Thank you, Monica Brown. Your services was appreciated. So, Dawn and Tara are besties. They were out on the night for Halloween. Ovs. Dawn is in some like cute scarecrow homage costume outfit, and then Tara, she's in some like basic goth girl skull dress, skin tight dress. Thank you, Tara. She was rocking purple lipstick. Not many people can actually like pull off a colored lipstick that's not, you know, the basic red or nude. Not even a lot of people could pull off red. I am the type of person where red lipstick does not look good on my skin tone. I don't know why. Don't ask me. Ask Jesus. So they are pretty drunk when they're leaving their party. And Dawn, she's like, no, I could totally drive. Like, let me drive. And Tara's like, no, girl, let me drive. Like, I'm fine. And then after Dawn finally lets her drive, or decides to let her drive, Tara, like, admits that she's also pretty faded. And so they both go to this pizza joint where, before they go to the pizza joint, this is when they see Art the Clown for the first time. He is down the street walking he's like, he has this big old black trash bag and he's kind of just jazzing, walking down the street, like looking like he's fake whistling, vibing. You know, if he had his AirPods on, he'd probably have the song Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. That's probably that's probably the song that's playing in his mind right now when he's walking down the street. And then he sees he makes eye contact with Tara, and then Tara's like, oh my god, Dawn, look. And then Dawn's like, what? And she's like, no, seriously, I'm about to scream. And then Dawn turns around and sees Art the Clown too, and she's drunk. She's like, oh my god, hey, my friend has a crush on you, you're so cute. And you know, Tara's like, shut up, like, let's get out of here, like, he's really creeping me out. So that's when they end up getting to the pizza shop. And once they're at the pizza shop, guess who comes into the pizza shop? Art the Clown. Art is being his goofy self. He's just a silly guy, not a chill guy. He's not that one meme with the dude with his hands in his pockets, the little furry guy. But he is a silly guy. He is trying to kind of flirt with Tara, sitting at a different table across from them, and she's getting creeped out. And then Art pulls out like his big money making move, right? So he takes a change from the table next to them, like it was tipped from the previous customer. He takes a quarter and puts it into the little ring where the toy puts it into the toy thingy where the rings come out. And he got a ring and was like proposing to Tara, and Tara's like, what the fuck is going on? And Dawn's like, oh my god, so cute, oh my god, mister, you're so cute. And then he puts the ring on Tara's finger, and Tara's like, bruh, what? And then he goes into the bathroom. And then when he's going into the bathroom, the pizza dude is all like, hey, is he bothering you guys? And they're like, no, it's fine, he's harmless. He's all right, I'm gonna take care of him, you got it, say less. And so he goes and follows him into the bathroom and then kicks him out because Art the Clown literally used his feces to make art in the bathroom, I guess you can say. He made it everywhere besides the toilet. This was gross. So he got kicked out, and then the girls ended up leaving, and this is when we see her call her sister. Her sister is in college getting ready for a midterm. She's supposed to wake up in 5 hours, but her roommate comes in ready to like have sex with some dude because it's Halloween night. They're both in costumes. And so she's like, you know what? I can probably stretch my legs. I'll come pick you up. And then it goes back to Art at the pizzeria. There's two pizza guys. One of the pizza dudes is cleaning up the mess that Art made inside the bathroom, and he's like yelling out to his boss saying he better get paid extra, he better get paid overtime, double time, all the time, because why is he the cook up in there cleaning fecal matter? He was like, how sanitary, this is very not sanitary. And he wasn't getting any response from his boss, right? So he went out to check on why wasn't his boss responding to him. Because I mean, if I was the boss, I'd be like, hey, he's crazy, I can't control what people do around here, it's part of your job, you gotta clean up the bathroom, it's in your job description, you gotta clean up the bathroom. So if I was, the boss, that's what I would have been doing, and there was no response like that. So the worker was like, yeah, let me go check on him. So he goes out of the bathroom still like yelling, talking and he sees his boss's head kind of like carved into a jack-o'-lantern to mimic a jack-o'-lantern, and his eyes and his mouth are like cut open and have like lit flames like it's a jack-o'-lantern candle. And it is probably one of the like sickest practical effects in my opinion in the movie, besides one of the kills that we'll get into later. But this is kill number 2 in the movie. Mr. Pizza Boss Man Dude Sir. The worker sees this and then sees Art in the back, like saying like, hey, I did this. Yo, what'd it do? You're next. And then so the other pizza guy runs away. And when he runs away, he tries to go to the phone and call for help. And as soon as he grabs the phone, Art comes with a big old meat cleaver and chops the dude's fingers right off of his hands and then gets him right in the face, and that is kill numero tres. Alrighty, so the synopsis says, while the girls are waiting for help, Tara really needs to pee, right? So she asks a pest control worker named Mike to let her into the apartment building that they're parked by, which he is servicing, so she can use the bathroom. Inside, she meets the cat lady, a deranged squatter convinced that the doll she carries is her baby. And then Art ambushes Dawn and incapacitates Tara with a sedative. So, they really like give the basic summary of the movie. However, I got you guys. So, Tara really has to pee. Dawn's like, why don't you pop a squat? And she's like, I'm not like you, sis. I can't just pop a squat anywhere. I need a toilet. And then she's like, well, why don't you ask that creepy guy that's coming out the building? He's creepier than the clown. And it's just some bald dude like doing his job, smoking a cigarette. And so Tara probably picked up on that vibe, and she went over there to ask if she could go to the bathroom. And then Dawn's kind of so funny. While Tara's like, please, sir, it's an emergency. I really gotta go. I really gotta go. Dawn like comes out of the window. Let her in, sir. She'll make it worth your while. That's me if I was a friend. If I was to be anybody in this movie, that would be me. So he takes her into the bathroom. This apartment building, y'all, is not the tea. I see why they have people in there getting ready to condemn it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a condemned building IRL, which is why they were able to film it, and probably for cheap. But they knew that. So when he takes her to this bathroom, that bathroom is gross, y'all. The bathroom like is so gross. I wonder if they made it look grosser, or if that was just like the bathroom that was already in the building that was that they rented. But dude's like, do you still like need me to wait for you to pee, or like can I go back to my job? And she's like, no, I can make it out of here, thank you so much. And then so as she's pissing, it goes back down to go piss, girl. As she's pissing, it goes back down to Dawn into the car, right? And Dawn is on her phone. This is when like Instagram just came out. I feel like, don't fact check me. What, 2016, 10 years ago? Yeah, that feels right. Instagram probably came out like 2012 or some shit, isn't it? The fake social media app that they were using looked very Instagram coded. She was scrolling on IG. And then she has the radio on, right? And in the radio, it has this like nude broadcaster saying, everybody, you know, be on the lookout. There was just a murder at the pizza place, which was the pizza place those two were just eating at. There was just a double brutal murder, and the suspect is a clown in a white and black suit with white and black face paint. And then she hears the car door opening, and she thinks that it's Tara, and she's like, oh my god, no fucking way. Guess what I just heard? And then she turns and sees Art the clown like all bloody waving at her, and then she screams. And that's when she gets incapacitated. What a big word. Word of the day, y'all. Incapacitated. And the cat lady is played by she did, honestly, her acting was pretty done well. Her name is Puya Museni, and I swear she was in some other she looks super familiar. But she's crazy. She is a squatter that lives inside of the building, and she has this baby doll that she thinks is really her daughter, right? And when she meets Tara randomly, she's like, oh, the new tenant is finally moving in. Oh, better be careful. Stuff's crazy here. Bye. And this is when, right after she meets the cat lady, baby holder. This is when she ends up coming into contact with Art the Clown, and he has some sort of syringe that ends up like knocking her out, and he sticks that like right into her neck. Is always, anytime there's anything like in a movie with like big old needles is always just so gross for me, and the way that they do it always looks so real. Like, movie magic is crazy. But yeah, that scene I was definitely like, ugh. So, Tara regains consciousness bound to a chair, witnessing Dawn. So, once she wakes up, she's tied to a chair. And she is like trying to get out of the chair, moving around about, and then Art reveals himself, and he's like, I got a present for you, and goes to this big old sheet that's just like right in front of her, and he rips off the sheet, right, and it is Dawn, who is being like held upside down by her feet, butt naked, spread apart. She has underwear on, but her breastises are out. Lovely breastises, 10 out of 10. If they're real, God bless. If they're not, give me your doctor's phone number. I'll take 2. And this is when Art kind of puts on a little show. So this is where like this makes like Art kind of like a interesting slasher, because like most slashers, they don't like save their victims to kill other victims in front of them, you know what I'm saying? Most of them, like, they just kill them on the spot. It's like they're after one person and they'll kill whoever's in their way in order to get that person. Like Ghostface after Sidney Prescott all the time is always killing whoever's in the way, blah, 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 blah. Same Michael Myers, Michael Myers trying to go after Laurie Strode and got to kill whoever's in the way. And this is somebody who likes to kind of capture people and put on a show. This is why this is the clown in him, He is at heart Art the Clown, and clowns are not only like attention seekers but maniacs. I'm just kidding about the second part. Deaf attention seekers, but like he seeks an audience, which is why he had Tara, watching while he literally took a saw and got Dawn. He started like right where her genitalia was and used a hand saw, when you got to go back and forth, used a hand saw and literally sawed her from her genitalia all the way down to the tip of her skull. She didn't like completely break in half, but he basically stopped right there at the skull. She was still alive too, like until he got to probably her breastises, like her lower intestines or large intestines, or both of the intestines, like came out, and she was still like screaming and like gurgling blood and all that. This was like maybe one of the most craziest kills in horror history, next up to one of the kills that are in Terrifier 3. But before that movie, this one definitely was basically like one of the top kills that was like, this was insane. This is literally insane. This is insane behavior. Who is this man? And so Tara manages to escape, and he chases her throughout the whole entire building. It's a very cat and mouse. She's able to get a couple jabs on him with like the little chair that she was tied to. It breaks off and she hits him with it. She thinks that she is like winning the fight because she gets like a bigger piece of wood, and she starts using that like as a bat, and she's like hitting him, and she's like, man, take that, you motherfucker. And then as soon as she says that, Art the Clown like pulls a little gun out and then shoots her right in the thigh, and then she's down, right? And then he starts walking over slowly to her and then shoots her right in the stomach, and she's like, oh, she's screaming, she feels it, you know what I'm saying? This actress did a good job at playing hurt. I can't say much about the other parts of it, but during like the being hurt part, yes ma'am, I believed it. And then after kind of like just gasping for the last little bit of air that she had left, he shoots her a third time, this time right in the face, and it like reveals that that wasn't even the last time that he goes. Okay, so after shooting her in the face, he tries to shoot her a fourth time, right? But the gun gets like jammed, so he walks away. Like he's like, I'm gonna go fix this. Let me go clean it. Blah, 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 blah. And then he comes back out with like either a new gun or fixed it. I don't know guns. What is the little clip? Yeah, there you go, clip. He probably put a new clip in, unjammed it, and he came back and it showed us Tara still alive. He ended up getting her like right in the cheek. So it probably went right through like one side of her face to the other side of her face. So she's still alive, this time barely gasping for air, like on her last little bit of life. And then he shoots her 5 more times in the face. Like this was crazy. A lot of people in like the horror community were kind of like, not mad, but they were kind of like, oh, this is a cop out because whereas like the creativeness in using a gun, you know what I'm saying? Like why should slashers use easy route in killing their victims, which is, firearms, when people can get creative and do other stuff, which there's most of the other kills inside of this movie are on the creative side, if I do say so myself. But the reason why that the movie creators, I think Damon Leone himself, liked the idea of Art having a gun was because he wanted Art to be kind of like, not an anti-serial killer, but everything that serial killers aren't known to do, because he's the clown. So he was like a clown making fun of a serial killer, but who is actually a serial killer, if that makes sense. Art fatally shoots her before he comes across Mike. But Mike ends up meeting the cat lady before he meets Art, right? Mike is the dude that let Tara into the building to use the bathroom. So the cat lady kind of sees some of the stuff that's going down. She sees either the dead bodies, or she sees Art like killing these girls, and she like runs to go for help, and she runs into Mike, right? And she's like, oh my god, you gotta help me, he's killing her. And then this dude's like, oh my god, this lady's tripping. She looks like the kind of lady that just be tripping, so he's not really believing the words that are coming out of her mouth. And because of that, he runs in the other direction, scared from her, but ends up running right into Art the Clown. And Art the Clown hits him right in the head with a hammer. Yeah, a hammer straight into the skull. And that like knocks him the heck out. I think he took it easy on Mike comparatively to everybody else he's come across and came across after. He took it pretty easy on Mike. I think he thought Mike was cute. So after that, the cat lady ends up seeing Art, and Art has her little baby doll, which she thinks is her, real daughter, right? And she's like pleading with him, oh my god, please, like the one thing you can't do is like take a daughter away from her mother. Like, girl, it's a doll, chill. And then so she's trying to get close to Art, and then she's like, oh, I bet you never felt the touch of a mother. And then like goes and puts her hand like on his face, and then he starts like sucking on his thumb like a little baby boy, and it's kind of really weird and eerie, because it's like, ugh, this is a grown-ass man and there's a grown-ass lady. Both of y'all are crazy. That probably is your mama. If y'all weren't the same age, y'all are definitely kin of some sort. So even after like kind of easing him for a little bit, after the cat lady eases Art for a little bit, he still kills her. He kind of So it says right here that Art mutilated the cat lady. So this is how he did it, right? He literally like skinned her from the bottom of her chest to like the middle of her back and scalped the top of her head. So Art was getting ready to do drag. He put on a breastplate and a wig. And this is when Victoria, the sister, finally comes for her sister Tara. Yeah. This is when she finally comes to pick them up, and she's like looking around the building. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe these drunk mother lovers like called me all the way out here, and now they're not even picking up their phone for me to pick them up. I got a test in the morning. Like, I'm so gonna kill them. And this is when she gets a text from Tara's phone saying that Dawn is really sick to come around back. But it's, oh no. She gets a text from Dawn's phone saying Tara's sick to come around back. But it's Art the Clown who like got a hold of the phone and is the one sending the message, right? Because he hears her calling her phone. Yeah. So Victoria finally finds her way inside. And when she finds her way inside, she sees like this, what appears to be her sister, like laying on the floor, kind of like naked and bloody, right? And as she's like trying to comfort her and like figure out like what the hell she's gonna do and how she's gonna help, and like she tries to call for help, this is when the cat lady kind of like gasps from the other side of the room, and this is when we see her with her breasts and her head skin off, and she's like, oh my God, run. Oh. And this is when Art reveals himself to be wearing this lady's breast and hair as a wig. And he's butt naked. There is nothing else on but this lady's breast and wig and his like face makeup. And it like stresses the hell out of Victoria, and she runs away. And then Art's kind of like dancing. It's very Silence of the Lambs when he's like, you know, singing the goodbye horses, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. It's very Buffalo Bill coded. So when he finally like catches up to her, he's taking his sweet ass time. He's still up in Geesh, and she can't find no way out of the building, so she's stuck hiding in some little closet. As he finally gets her, she's peeping out of some like keyhole through the closet to see like if the coast is clear. And once he gets to the room where she's at, he knows exactly where she's at. She thinks she's hiding, but we can see him through the keyhole pointing at her in drag and like laughing like, hee 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 hee, I'm about to kill you. And then he's trying to like open up the door, but he can't get in, right? So then he hears somebody come into the apartment building, because it ends up being Mike, the exterminator's coworker, because he was trying to call for help right before Art the Clown knocked him out with the hammer, right? So homeboy finally gets there, and Art pursues him. Homie does not get very far, unfortunately, and ends up getting decapitated by Art the Clown. He saws his throat almost like completely off, and then just rips the rest of his head right back. It was a really good practical effect. It was disgusting. Tens across the board. So Victoria is running all around, you know, she's trying to find her way out of this building. She cannot find her way out of this building. But want to know what she did find? She found her sister's dead body all displayed in a not sexual way, thankfully. That was Dawn's character, I guess. But Tara is all like wrapped up in circus lights, and she has this giant sign on her that says circus. And she's like an art piece. Get it? Art made art. It was crazy, but she's like going through the motion. She is like, please don't be dead. Oh my God, you can't be dead. And just as like she is realizing, yeah, she's dead. I mean, her sister looked dead as but as she's finally coming to it, she turns around and she hears Art, and Art is confronting her using a makeshift cat o' nine tails, which is like a big ass chain that has a bunch of like knives and sharp things attached to it. And he starts like wanging it and whacking it and beating her with it. It's like cutting her up all over the place. And Mike the Exterminator was not killed. He ends up coming out just in the nick of time and hits Art over the head with something, I forgot what, but makes him unconscious, and this allows him and Victoria to flee and call 911. She's like literally in shock. They find themselves in this room. He finds a phone. He's able to get in contact with the police, thankfully, finally. And the police are like, okay, I'm just gonna need you to stay calm, sir. I'm gonna need you to stay on the phone until the police arrive. Okay, sir, that's all I need you to do. Thank you. And he's like, no, this lady, I gotta get her to a hospital. We're out of here. So he hangs up the phone, and then he takes Victoria and is like, can you walk, babe? Let's go. And they're trying to get out, and he gets to this hallway, and it's the exit out of wherever they are in this building. And of course, it's locked. It's locked with a deadbolt and a chain. So Mike tries to go find something to like smash it open. And as he's looking for stuff, this is when Art comes out and gets his lick back in against Mr. Mike. And he squishes his head completely with his big clown shoes. He steps on it over and over again. Click, clack, click. Squick, squick, squick. Clown shoes go squish. Yeah, that's what he did to his face. It was crazy. And just as so Victoria's still kind of in shock the whole entire time, but as she sees him kill the one person that was like saving him, she's like, oh, well, guess I gotta lock back in. So she locks back in, and she tries to run away, and she ends up inside of this garage, and she thinks she's about to get away, right? And she like hears a car coming, so she's like, oh, thank God, like the police are coming, help's finally coming. But it's just Art the Clown, who ended up taking the pickup truck that the coworker came in and ran straight through the garage, busting down the door and hitting Victoria with it. So as she lies there incapacitated, IMDb loves that word, incapacitated. As she lies incapacitated, Art begins to disfigure her face. So he kind of like sniffs it, licks it, and then what we all do in the bed. And he thinks like after he licks it, he's like, oh, this is a good face. You know what? I want a little more. And he literally starts eating her face. It's disgusting. It's gross. He starts literally eating this poor girl's face, and she's still alive, just by the way. So the cops come, and they're like, put your hands up, put your hands up right now. And then Art's like, you caught me. I guess I'll put my hands up. So he puts one hand up, and he goes to get the gun out of his shoe with his other hand. And instead of like going to shoot the police with the gun, he puts the gun in his own mouth and shoots himself. And the police are like, oh, dang it. And then that's when they go over, check the body, and then notice that Victoria is still alive. So after the police ascertain that Victoria is still alive, Art's corpse and those of his victims are taken to a morgue. This is when we see the morgue and medical examiner start to work on his body, and he pops back up Michael Myers' status and kills the mortician. A year later, Victoria is discharged from the hospital after her recovery. It's revealed that she is the disfigured woman from the film's prologue, illustrating the massacre that occurred the previous year. So the woman that killed the news reporter at the beginning of the movie was Victoria, the sister of Tara. She kind of like bought herself a ticket and took a ride on the crazy train too after she was mentally scarred and freaking physically scarred too. Oh my God, the face is crazy, you guys. But she gets a cameo, I don't think in Terrifier 2, but in Terrifier 3 she comes back. So we will see her again. We know that Art also lives again, so we will see this in another movie. All right, you guys, that was Terrifier. I guess some I wouldn't call it a fun fact, but some controversy surrounding this movie that just transpired not too long ago. The actress who plays Dawn, her name again is Catherine Corcoran. She put a lawsuit against the producers and the director, Damon Leone, allegedly that they breached their contract in the distribution of sexually explicit material without her consent. So in this suit, it was filed in California federal court, and Corcoran's attorneys presented a case defined by the all too common story of low-budget film producers taking advantage of a young actress through fraud, sexual harassment, and ultimately betrayal. The lawsuit names production banners Dark Age Cinema and Fuzz on the Lens Productions as defendants, in addition to producer Phil Falcone and Leone and the filmmaker's banner Art the Clown. The filing includes 7 claims for the relief, including distribution of sexually explicit materials, breach of contract, and promissory fraud. The suit alleged that filming for the sequence where Corcoran is hung upside down, topless by her ankles for over 10 hours and below freezing temperatures. It also states that the director and producer Leone agreed in writing to provide Corcoran with a share of 1% of all net sales generated from Terrifier-related merchandise. Her lawyer, Devin McRae, said that if Corcoran was willing to take a risk and receive her compensation on the back end, the franchise would not exist, as it could not have been made on a shoestring budget otherwise. However, when it came time to pay what was owed, the producer chose to cheat her, he added. Corcoran said that she only received $8,300, with payments also ceasing in July of 2025. She also alleged that Falcone did not obtain her consent to take numerous still photography of her nude body while she was glued to a piece of plywood while filming. So that was the distribution of sexually explicit materials, was the pictures, because obviously she consented to being on camera with her biddies out for that scene for her character, right? Yeah, I just thought that this was something that we should talk about. Let's talk about it for a little bit. So obviously this is something that they say happens all the time when it comes to low budget horror movies. It's the same thing that kind of is happening with Obsession right now. You know, Obsession was made, obviously, we all know, on like a $750,000 budget, right? And it has already made probably at this point over $500 million. And people in that movie only got a couple $1,000s. I think the makeup artist in that movie only received like $9,000 for the whole entire thing. And the executives said that they were going to give some money, pay the money out to Curie Baker and maybe someone else on his team, but mostly just him, the director, for putting it all together. And I think he's the writer. But everybody else don't get nothing. What Curie said about this was that he knows that it's up, that, you know, it's a double-ended sword. It's great, you know, that this movie's doing what it did, but it's fucked up that nobody gets the money that they did. The best thing that he can hope is that it just helps like spearhead the careers of the people who were involved in this movie, and we are kind of seeing that with Indy Navarrete and Megan Lawless, the girls who played, obviously, Nikki Freeman and what was the friend's name? Yeah, the friend. But the girlies, they're getting their gigs, which I love for them. But you know, you guys being like production producers, people with money, need to stop being so motherfucking greedy with money and just say what you're gonna do and do what you're gonna say. It's literally that easy. Like, doing all that, you'll still have so much money. Like, backing up your end of the deal, you'll still have so much money. I don't think she won this lawsuit. I do remember seeing an interview with the actress when she was talking about like her experience during that scene. She was saying that they had to do it in like 45-second intervals because there's a chance of getting seizure being upside down for that long. In most movies with budget, they have machines that help distribute your weight, so when you're upside down, it doesn't feel like all your body weight's going straight to your head and all your blood's rushing straight to your brain, so you're able to kind of like go quicker with the process, this and that, and it's safer. Above all, they did not have this. They literally had her in like BDSM chains, just hooked up upside down, and they had this like table under her, and they would start the timer and remove the table from under her, which would make her officially be upside down with her own body weight, and then they would start the timer for 40 seconds, and then before 42 seconds get her back up level, so then the blood can rush back to the rest of her body. She also said that they were providing a blanket, that they were providing, like they had some cover for her, because obviously her character was naked during this whole time. She said it was like a $10 to $12 12-hour workday. But at one point, she's the time of year, the area that we're at in the building itself, it was below freezing in the building. So they had her butt naked in below freezing weather. They gave her a blanket, but with all of the special effects and blood and everything, the blanket ended up getting basically soaked. So when she was cold, they put this wet ass blanket over her, and she was like, no, that's just making it worse. Like, let's just wrap it up. Let's get through this. Let's get through this. So I feel for her, she did a lot. And all she got was $8,000. Like, that's crazy. No tea. I made that in this summer working for a private school, literally in like 8 weeks. So for her to I go through all of that and then have this spearhead into something so successful and still not get just a little bit more is kind of crazy. It is very not good. So those are my final thoughts about the movie. Let me know down below what you think. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that rich people need to stop being so damn greedy? Or do you think that actors need to have a better contract when they're starting out? Do you think that everything needs to be in writing? Let me know in the comments below. Alrighty, we're at the part where we get to play one of my favorite games. Slash or smash. The rules are very simple. I will tell you some of these characters from the very first Terrifier movie, and we will say whether we would slash or smash and why. Now, let's remember, everybody, we're specifically talking about the characters, not the actors. The characters themselves, okay? So their personality, their traits, their choices, all of that fun stuff. And the first one on the dossier is the one, the only, Art the Clown. And I'm going to tell you what. No, he's not cute. No, he's not hygienic. No, he's not nice. He doesn't check any of the boxes, but he does check one of my main boxes that kind of overcome all the other red flags that I should be looking out for. But he's funny. Oh my God, he is so funny. I love me a funny man. If you can make me giggle, you can make me wiggle, baby. Yes. And for that, I'm gonna smash. All right, next up on the dossier, we have Tara. So Tara, what I kind of like about Tara's character was it was kind of like a fake out, the first time watching this, she gave Final Girl vibes. Obviously the storyline was following her basically the whole entire time until we get the plot twist at the end. And, seeing her actually die. But this movie kind of had two final girls in a sense. One just died and one became a killer. Which is cool because we don't really see that. We just usually see the killer dying and then one or two people living and being scarred for the rest of their life. But Tara, I like her vibe. She's a goth girl. She's goth baddie. I probably have a dress exactly like hers. I have a wig definitely exactly like hers. A little black shortcut bob. I definitely got that wig, girl. But for this, I'm also going to give her a smash. Next up, we have Victoria. All right, so Victoria was a good sister. She was trying to help her sister out and go pick her drunk and her and her friend's drunk ass up. And, that's what you get for being nice, I guess. She ended up becoming a psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa better. And for that, I'm going to have to give her a slash. Also, because when she gets her face discombobulated, girl, she didn't even like the way she looked. What do you think I'm gonna like the way you look? I'm so sorry, sweetie. Sweetie. Next up, we have the character Dawn. All right, I'm gonna give Dawn a smash, you guys. Dawn, I'm telling you guys, if I was written as a character in New York from 2016, I'd be Dawn. If I was a cisgendered female from New York, I would literally be Dawn. But yeah. The way she just interacts with her friend, she's so unserious, so flirty, so fun. Love that. Smash. All right, guys, last up on the dossier, we have an unexpected contestant. Somebody I didn't think was going to end up on the dossier, but after pondering and pontificating and, you know what? fantasizing about it a little bit, I was like, I'm going to put him on. So we have Mike the Exterminator. I'm into it. You know what? I'm going to give him a smash for a couple different reasons. One, he looked like a nice guy. Two, like, even though he was like hurt, he still went and tried to help this girl he did not know. Three, his bald head was kind of cute. Like, hey, Mr. Clean, how you doing? His job, he probably makes hella money doing the job that he had, the exterminator for a condemned building. I know they got money. And not like big baller shot caller money, but at least like some Red Lobster money. And I love the Red Lobster, honey. So for that reason, Mr. Mike, the Exterminator, can get the Paswacha. That's a smash. All right, everybody, that is Slash or Smash. We have almost dug a hole big enough to fit this topic into, but before we go, this is part of the show where we answer chilling inquiries from the Crypt Keepers. Today's questions are from the scariest place of all, the Instagram DMs. So this one says, what are some of your favorite Halloween memories? I guess my favorite Halloween thing that I've done in Chicago so far, it was, I think the first Halloween I was out here, I bought tickets to, it was on Halloween night, it was to this like quartet, not opera. Who are the string people? Orchestra, thank you. It was this orchestra quartet. It was like a violinist, a violist, a celloist, and a bass. They were all playing together, and they were playing in the middle of a cathedral that's in the middle of a cemetery, and it was all candlelit. The only lights in there were just lit by candles, fake candles, but candle lit, and it was on Halloween night in a graveyard, like literally like at 10 o'clock at night in the spookiest time. There was fog all around the graveyard, and they played all kinds of spooky songs through orchestra, through like string music, and it was just fabulous. That was one of the like the best things I've done on Halloween. That was like all of the spooky vibes I needed. I went for a walk in the graveyard afterwards, and I was so scared. I was like, oh my goodness, I could feel the spirits, I could feel the ghosts. They were out and about that night. And I'm excited for this Halloween, because this Halloween I am going to make this a great Halloween. But other than that, I would have to say, at the moment, that one is going to have to take the cake for me, is that graveyard. What is it? Like a graveyard bash. Yeah, it was a graveyard bash. I also really like seeing everybody's costume. Anything Halloween related is effing fun. But that's something specifically I've done on like Halloween day. That was cool. I always obviously do a bunch of spooky stuff throughout the month, but that is something besides trick-or-treating or going to a party that was like, I was like, ooh, I feel spooky. Alrighty, you guys, that was the Crypt questions. I'd like to thank you all for hanging out with me today. For real, go follow my Instagram at She's in the Crypt so you can see everything I got going on. Plus, y'all, I told you I got a new phone, so it's about to be on and popping. Hopefully, editing is a lot easier on my phone for like my reels and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I'd like to thank UIC Radio for publishing this podcast, but most importantly, I'd like to thank you, the Crypt Keepers. Thank you for digging this grave with me today, but unfortunately, the graveyard is closed. So until next time, we'll leave this episode in the crypt. Farewell and bad dreams. Make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at She's in the Crypt for updates about shows and upcoming guests. Follow UIC Radio at UIC Radio on Insta and subscribe to the UIC Radio YouTube channel so you won't miss a single episode every Friday. And you can also check out the other shows on the network. Make sure to leave the podcast a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps the algorithm push the show. This podcast was created, written, and edited by Naomi Dillon Sass. Hey, and published by UIC Radio. Music by Arthur Benson, The Friendly Ghost, and sound effects from epidemicsounds.com. If you can't get enough of She's in the Crypt, you can check out my weekly blog, Crypt Collections, every Saturday morning on the website uicradio.net. And find me in the blog section. Bye!